Hello, welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and today what I'm going to be doing is making some personalised coasters. Everything I use today I will put links to in the description. Nothing here is expensive at all. I'll be using this type of letter that are readily available, some round coaster blanks, I'll be using some paint, and of course some resin. What I will be doing first is I will be painting all of these with Colour Shift black paint, and I love this paint. It really is good, and you can mix it in resin as well and gives a great effect. The reason I paint them is I always feel that it gives a much better base to MDF, and these are made out of MDF. If you paint it, you don't actually need to seal MDF because it is kind of made with a resin, so it is already sealed, but I just feel it gives a lot more solid finish to it. So these are all painted now, and I've given them 2 coats. And I've also gone round the edge with a metallic marker, and I will put the link to the metallic markers in the description below along with everything else, because I love them and they don't get affected at all by resin, but you can get some really good effects with those. And I also love this Colour Shift paint. So I'm also going to be putting on the little transfers that I make with the name. If you want to know how I make these, it's really simple. I make them out of resin, doesn't take long at all, and it's quite therapeutic. Then check out the link in the comments below, and also I will put this up at the end on the end screen because they are fun and they can be used so many different ways. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly choose whether I put balloons or a cupcake onto these, but I am going to put I love you onto all of them as well at the bottom, because these are all for my family and I love all my family. So the first one is for Steve. Well, that's for me, and I do love myself. I think it's important to love yourself. But these letters just fit on there nicely, and with that rim around the edge I can also get a nice kind of spacing for them. So there we go, and I know that they're working right. So I can centre that up, which is there now. Put the love you on there, and then that's it. And then what I will do is I will stick those down, and then I will coat them in resin, but a thick enough layer of heat resistant resin so that they're nice and flush. And I will show you how you do that as well, because I'm not going to have it where it runs on over the sides. And now how I will stick these down is I will just use super glue. I'll put a dot on each one of these, and then I will stick them down. So I've got everything on there that I want on there, and it's all stuck down nicely. Nothing's going to come off. So what I now need to do is coat in resin. But as you can see, these are raised. So I want to have the resin just slightly above these, but without it running over the edge, because I don't want it to be on the sides, because I want to paint the sides with this, either this metallic colour or this metallic colour here. So how I'm going to do that is I wrap them in tape. I don't know if you can see that. Now that is a little bit fiddly, but actually it's not difficult. So I'm going to quickly show you how I do that. It's much easier with round coasters, by the way. So I pull the tape out, and I don't have too wide a tape for this. So what I do is I put this on the right at the edge of the tape, and then I bring this bit of the tape up and round, but not putting any tension on the tape, because if you put tension on the tape, it will fold in. Just slightly overlaps the other tape that I'm rolling onto, and then I cut off, leaving about 1 inch, 3 centimeters for us metric people, and there we go. And then what I will do is I will go round gently with my thumb all the way round a couple of times to ensure that that edge is stuck down, because I don't want the resin running through it. What I would strongly suggest is that you mix your resin up without any bubbles in it at all, because you're not going to be able to go over this with a heat gun at all, because it will just melt the tape. The other thing is pour in quite slowly and allow it to find its own level, because that way you will avoid putting in any more bubbles than you need to. Now you can go over this with a very light spray of alcohol, but always wear a mask when you're using alcohol to spray with, because if you don't, the vapours and the fumes from alcohol can be quite detrimental to your lungs. And you know when everything's covered because the colour of that will go slightly different. Also, if you do get any bubbles that are trapped in it, just take a toothpick, like I'm doing here. Oh, look, that came up on its own, and pop the bubbles. Because that way, you're not going to have to worry about the bubbles being there. If you've got a pressure pot, put them in your pressure pot. There we go. I'm quite happy with that, but I will sit and watch it for a little while, just in case something comes up. I'm happy about the depth. Everything's covered. Now I'll just leave that to cure. These have all cured now, and they've cured nicely, and as you can see, there's very few bubbles in them. Although I will confess that what I did was I checked them last night and pushed one in, and it wasn't cured right. So I'm the world's worst at doing this. I should know better than to touch it before it's cured, but I'm the world's worst. And this is easy to get this tape off, and none of them leaked, which is great. All I need to do is snip down there, pull the tape around, and it will just come off. And this is not a heavily sticky tape, so it hasn't left a sticky residue on the back on the edges of these coasters. And as you can see, they're really quite nice and see-through from the edges. But what it will do, because the face of this was the one that's up, it will have that slight lip on them, which causes it to be concave. And I don't want that lip to be there, although it is quite useful. For some people find it useful because actually when your glass goes on it, it doesn't come right off the coaster, but I don't like it. Now, there are a couple of options to deal with that. One is I can put another layer of resin on there to level that up and let it cure again, or I can sand it off and then polish it so that you can't see it. But in this case, I'm not going to be doing that because I am going to be coating these edges with either a metallic paint or with gold leaf, and I haven't made my decision on which way I'm going to go yet, so I'll do that in a second. So what I will do is I'm going to lightly go round this and sand it off. And that actually isn't too difficult to do. What you can risk doing is scratching the face of the actual coaster itself. The other important thing to do is you must, whenever you're sanding resin, wear a mask. These sanding dust is really harmful to you, so do not do any sanding without a mask. So I can literally just go round and sand these down like this, or I can use my Dremel on a low speed and go around these edges carefully and sand it away. And that's the approach that I will be taking. So now they've all been sanded, I did use my Dremel. It was much quicker, only took me about 3 or 4 minutes. If you have a look now, you could actually leave it like this because you can't really see too much where that has been sanded off, but it is nice and smooth now, and it does kind of leave a more like a smoky edge to them. But actually I do want to finish these off with an edging because I just think it will finish the actual final coaster off. So I've decided that I am going to use gold leaf for this. I have several videos on showing you how to do that using gold leaf in jewellery and on pour pictures. But what I'll do is I'll quickly show you on this one, but if you want to know how to use more gold leaf in more detail, then check out one of the other videos. As always, I'm going to be using proper gold leaf glue because I think it's important to use the proper stuff, because what happens is once this dries, it remains sticky, and it's ever so easy then to apply the gold leaf to this glue, and it's far less mess. I will pop some on the top of this shot glass. This is what I always do because that way I don't overuse it. I will use 2 different size brushes. I will use a small brush just to go around this little bit here because I want just this edge to be covered in the gold leaf. There we go. So I've gone all the way around with that brush, and then what I will do is with the flat brush that I've got here, I will then just go around this edge with this glue. So I've got my gold leaf out now, and I'm also working on some kitchen paper because it's less likely to stick to the kitchen paper than it is to the silicone mat that I normally work on. because it does tend to stick to the silicone mat. So it's quite easy to get this on to the coaster, because the edges you can just literally go around through your gold leaf like so, and it will stick to it. And this is the great thing about using round coaster blanks. So there we go. Take your brush and then just go over your gold leaf like so. Bend it over to where you've got it on the rim and brush it off, and then it will give you an edge, and then you just can go round your actual edge like that. And if you've missed any bits with the glue, you can just go back in afterwards, and as you can see, I have missed a bit there, and then you can just tidy them up by going over it with your brush. And you can go over with the stiff brush, or I've got a soft brush here that I also use for gold leaf for brushing off the excess off the front, and as you can see, that's brushed that off lovely. And these are all available. I will put the link to everything that I've used in the description below, because I think, you know, it makes it easier than having to search for it and then think, is that the right stuff and all that sort of thing. And I always have my pot available, ready for putting all my spare bits in for jewellery and things. So there we go, that's nicely finished now. There are one or two little flecks on the front, so I'll just brush those off. They're all gold leafed now. I'm really happy with how they've come out. And if you take this one, so they're all gold leafed around the edge and slightly on the top. They're lovely and clear. And also I've put 5 little plastic feet on the bottom of these coasters, because I just think it raises them up and it gives them a real good stability, and they don't move around or slip around. You could put felt or anything. You don't have to put anything on the bottom of them. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this has inspired you to make something similar. Again, very cost effective, give a great effect. You could do them for weddings, christenings, birthdays. Really, there's no end of what you could use these for and how to customize these. If you want to know how to make the little transfers that I use, then check out the video that's linked at the end. And also my gold leafing video that's linked at the end. I've also got other videos that you might find useful. Check out my Facebook group, How to Resin with Steve McDonald. That's becoming really, really popular now. It's a great little group, very active. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, especially if you don't want to miss out on future projects. I release projects twice a week, always on a Sunday and once midweek as well. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I love what I do, and I love sharing what I do as well. And if you fancy supporting this channel, check out my Patreon link below. You can make a little donation, or you can sign up on one of the monthly tiers and get additional information and support. Take care, enjoy your resin, bye. And I don't use any tension on it. Let the actual tape do itself, because if not, what happens is the tape will bend in and you won't get a nice seal. And don't drop it like that, because that's absolutely pointless. That's for a blooper, I think. Okay. Okay, let's do it again.